I'd like to show you how to make a shortcut icon, and there's a couple of different things that you can do with it. The recipes site that I created that opens up a variety of its own web pages in an iframe. Well, if you right click it and hit properties and then go to customize, folder pictures for thumbnail views, you can put a picture on this folder to remind you of the contents. And folder icons. For all views except thumbnails, you can change the standard folder icon to another icon. Hit change icon and it takes you to look for icons in this file, system root, system32, shell32.dll. You can choose to change your typical folder to something different. You could choose these different things. There's a tree, there's a star, there's a lock. There's all kind of different things here. This looks like a disc player or something. There's another star, recyclables, keys. Um, there's just a bunch of different things here you could choose. Or you could pick your own. If you go to browse, and my folder has a few icons that I created myself on my desktop in the recipes folder. So I click desktop, I click recipes. I created this mom ico and heart ico. I'm going to pick the heart ico. I'm going to hit OK, apply, and OK. And as you can see, the recipes folder icon changed to this heart icon. It's an ICO file. If I right click it, properties, customize, change icon, browse, go my desktop, go inside of recipes, and I change it to the mom icon. I'll just call it icon. OK, apply, OK. Now I've got a picture of my mom instead of the folder icon for recipes. I'll show you how to make that. First, if you go into your pictures, and I don't know, what would I like to pick? Another picture, something simple, something that's going to be somewhat legible even when it's small. I will pick my betta picture, and I'm gonna, what do I want to do first? I'm going to make a copy of it. I'm going to copy it and paste it because I just drug it over here and I don't want to ruin it. I'll put that back in my pictures. Okay, so I'm going to rename it to just betta JPEG instead of copy of. Then I'm going to right click it, hit open with, no, that's not what I wanted. I want to open with paint first. Open with paint. There it is. There's this picture of the fish I used to own. File, save as. I'm going to keep it with the name of betta, but I don't want it to be a JPEG. I want it to be a 24-bit bitmap file. So save. Okay, so now it's betta.bmp. That's the first important step. I guess I don't really need this betta JPEG anymore. I could put that back in there. Now that I have a bitmap file, I'm going to right click and I'm going to open with my Microsoft Office Picture Manager. Edit pictures. I want to resize it. This picture is perfect because it's already a square, 588 by 588 pixels. If this were a rectangle, you'd want to crop it into a square. Do your best to crop it as a square. That way when you get to the custom width and height, you could put 32 by 32 because that's the proper size for an icon file. I'm going to test this and see what 50 by 50 will do, if that'll actually work or not. Okay, this is a bit larger than your icon file, so it may or may not work, but I want to test it. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to rename this from a bitmap to an ICO. I want to change it, yes, I'm sure. Okay, this actually, you actually see the picture of the fish and it's a little bit bigger. it's really hard to tell, but this one is 32 by 32, whereas this is a 50 by 50. But I want to see if it'll work as intended. So I'm going to put it in my recipes folder. I'm going to right click recipes, go to properties, go to customize, go to change icon, go to browse, go back to my desktop, go into my recipes, and I'm going to click on my beta icon, and I'm going to hit OK, apply, OK. And it actually did work with 50 by 50. Let me see if it will work as intended with my home page folder. So I'm going to right click my home, edit with notepad, and right here you got your HTML opening tag, your head, here's the title, here's the link for the icon. It says link, rel equals shortcut icon, href equals mom.ico, type equals image / x / icon. I'm going to change that from the mom ICO to the beta ICO, and I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to run it in Firefox. And it did work. 50 by 50 was not too big. It did work. So you could barely see that it's a fish, but it's definitely a fish icon. And close out of this, close out of that, close out of this. My recipe folder that I gave the fish icon to, when I open it, and you look down here to see that I have something open in the window that's called recipes, which is this folder, you also see that icon that I put there. It's really hard to see if it's a picture that's that small. It's pretty hard to tell what that is. So another thing that we can do, if we don't want to use the image is fine for your desktop icon, and I could test this and see how large I can go before it won't accept it anymore. But I would like to go in Paint and manually create an icon. So I'm going to choose my paintbrush, and I'm going to choose the largest brush that I can use. I'm going to choose a color that might be easy to see. I don't know if it's going to be easy to see or not, but I'm going to use this light blue. And I guess I'm just going to, maybe instead of the paintbrush, I'll use this oval thing, and I'll just make some kind of circle. Then I'll hit my fill with color, and I'll fill it. And what else might I do for this? Maybe I'll take my paintbrush and put a black slash through it. Okay, I don't know if that looks like Saturn or what that is, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to hit Save As, and I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to call it, I don't know, Thing. And I want to make sure that I save it as the 24-bit bitmap. There's a selection here to choose from, but use the 24-bit bitmap. Save it on your desktop so you don't have to dig for it. Now I have a thing.bitmap. I'm going to open this up in my Microsoft Picture Manager. I'm going to edit it. The first thing I'm going to do is crop all this white waste off. Okay. That's not a perfect square, but it's 179 by 150 pixels. It's close enough for me to work with, but what I'd like to do is open it back up in Paint so that I could try to make this more in the center. Well, what I could do though is I could try to move this in and try to make it 150 by 150. That might help before I even go back into Paint. Just ever so slightly. 150 by 150. Okay. Now I've got the square, but I want to centralize this. So I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to right click this, and now I'm going to open it with Paint again, because I'm going to take this select icon, and I'm going to highlight around the image, and then I'm just going to slide this in the middle because the background is white. It doesn't matter where I slide this. That looks not perfect, but much better. All right, so then I save it. Now let's see how this works. I have the 32 by 30. Oh no, it's not 32 by 32. Is it? It's edit picture. It's resize. It's 150 by 150. I'm going to give it a 50 by 50 like I did with the beta. Okay, and then I'm going to save it. And I'm going to slide it into my recipes folder. I'm going to right click recipes, properties, customize, change icon, browse, desktop, recipes. And I don't see the icon. What did I do wrong? Did I not change the name of it? Let me see. I sure didn't. I can't have it remain a .bmp file because it's not going to look for that. It's going to look for the ICO files. So I have to right click this and rename it to thing ICO. ICO. Yes, I want to change it. Okay, now I've got it in the ICO list. So let me try this again. Right click, properties, customize, change icon, browse, desktop, my recipes, thing ICO, OK, apply, OK, and now I gave my folder a new image. And of course I want to see if this image will work as my web page link as well. So I right click home, edit with Notepad++. I'm going to change it from the beta ICO to the thing ICO. Save it and run it in Firefox. And now you have this light blue circle with a black slash on it. Down here, the recipes folder, it's a little strange because you can see the blue circle with the black slash, but it's also surrounded by black. I don't know why, but in any event, it's working for both my recipes folder and my web page icon file. Just a little something to do when you're bored to give yourself your own personal icons for your folders for your desktop or for your web pages.